Hello and welcome back to the Watford Way today with your Norwich City versus Watford match preview. Really looking forward to this game. But my question to you watching is this a must-win game for Watford? Is this a must-win game for Zisco? We'll get into a bit of that later in the stream. Obviously, we've got a good record against Norwich. We'll talk about that. Kiko Feminier also returning to training, as well as Ben Foster. And of course, I'll give you my score prediction as well. So we'll start off with the good record we've got against Norwich, because it is a really good record. I take you back to the last time we were in the Premier League. I think we won both of them games. Go back to the Championship, we beat them at Vicarage Road. We then beat them away from home. Obviously, that helped us secure promotion back to the Premier League. That win, that was a really crucial win in that run of games. So it is a must-win game for me. This. Obviously, I want to win every game in the Premier League season. I think it's stupid if you don't say that. But I just think because of the position we're in currently, obviously only getting one win against Aston Villa, coming off the back of a few poor performances, you would say. Norwich and Watford are going to be in and around the same position come the end of the season. So, it's vital that we pick up points from them now. And, for me personally, I do think that our squad is a lot stronger, a lot better. We've got a lot more depth than Norwich have got. I think they're going straight back down. Whereas I think with Watford, we could get relegated quite easily. But I do think we've got a better chance than Norwich at staying up in the Premier League this season. So, yes, it is a must win. I also think it's a don't lose. So if we come away with a draw, let's say we come away with a draw and we beat Newcastle the following week, I would say that's good. I want to win both games if possible. So yeah, it's going to be really interesting to see how it pans out. A few interesting things to report. The main one for me is that Kiko Feminier is back from this long hamstring injury that he's had. That seems to have tailed on from the end of last season. We keep getting these injury updates from the Watford website every week, kind of talking about Kiko's progress. And it's been really slow. He made an appearance in the Carabao Cup against Palace, and that must be, nearly a month ago now. And I thought he looked good then. And then we've not seen him since. So there's obviously been some sort of recurring injury there. But hopefully he can at least play a part in this fixture, because I do think that the partnership, especially that him and Ismaila Sarr have, is absolutely, it's fantastic. And that primarily last season, in the Championship, that was our main threat down the right-hand side. Kiko, Sarr, overlapping runs. It was just absolutely fantastic. So if Kiko can come back, I'm not actually expecting Kiko to start, but maybe a bench appearance, maybe start Kiko in the cup against Stoke on Tuesday night. But yeah, it's going to be really interesting to see how it pans out. An interesting one actually that is a little bit controversial. Ben Foster is back from injury, which is great. Obviously, I want all our players to be back from injury. But there has been a few people calling for Foster to start. I can see Fireball in chat. Welcome to the stream. Hope you're doing well, mate. He also agrees it's a must-win. But yeah, a lot of people have been calling for Foster to start this game. Daniel Batman, of course, he hasn't had the best of starts this season. I think he's one of the lowest ranking keepers in terms of statistically at the moment. I don't think he helps himself sometimes. He does look a little bit shaky, a little bit nervous on the ball. A lot of Watford fans say he's good at passing out from the back, but I don't really see any difference between him and Foster, if I'm being honest with you, in that regard. And Tottenham away, he made the error. I was actually at that game, directly behind the goal, and it was a really poor error. However, I don't think you can go about dropping Daniel Bachmann just yet. I think you do have to give him a little bit more time. I think the Watford fan base, especially recently, are very reactionary. People calling for Zisco to go already. So I think everyone needs to chill out a little bit, give Daniel Bachmann a bit more time to, at least 3 or 4 more games to kind of see what he's about. Then if he still is making mistakes that are costing us games, then you might say to him, look, we do need maybe an experienced goalkeeper in there. Throw Ben Foster back in, because Ben Foster, he's not necessarily going to play the ball out the back and be technically good in the ball, But if he's going to make the saves that we want Dan Batman to be making, then I think that's a positive. So it's definitely a discussion to have. However, I would definitely keep Daniel Batman to the moment and see how he does. You know, I think if we do win against Norwich, I think everyone's fears and concerns will be eased. Then obviously we go into the Stoke Carabao Cup game. We should be winning that, depending on obviously the strength of side Xisco puts out. And then you go into Newcastle. So we could be, you know, sitting here. I could be sitting here this time next week talking to you guys, and we might have won 3 games in a row, 2 Premier League games, a cup game. You know, that would be the ideal scenario for me. And, you know, Xisco actually, I'll see if I can pull up this on screen now, actually. He did a really good, he did a really good press conference today, actually. Some good quotes coming out from Xisco, talking about the fans, how much they love him. Just bringing up the Watford website for you here. Hopefully it works. There we go. So, yeah, Xisco kind of saying, we know Norwich, we know the important game that we have coming up. He's saying we know the players they have. It's important we start well. Just the classic stuff, really. Talking about Timo Pukki. And actually, fun fact to you, Pukki, I might be jinxing us here. Timo Pukki has never actually scored against Watford. I was reading a statistic today. I was reading a statistic earlier today. I think Timo Pukki's played something like 6 matches against Watford and like registered 1 assist and no goals. So that is a positive. But as I said, I might have just jinxed that, and he'll end up scoring a hat trick on Saturday. But you know, I am positive for the game. As I said, I do think our squad is considerably stronger than them. And don't get me wrong, Norwich have got good players. Obviously, Tim Krul in goal, class goalkeeper. I'd have him at Watford any day. Max Aarons, Todd Cantwell, you know, Billy Gilmore as well in midfield on loan from Chelsea. So, you know, Todd Cantwell for me is their key player. You know, since they've let Buendia go, that was such a miss. You know, it's such a miss for them to let Buendia go. They've reinvested the money somewhat. I know they brought Josh Sargent in for something like £10 million. I don't really know if it's going to make that much of an impact in the Premier League, to be honest with you. I've not seen much of him. He's American, if you didn't know that already. But yeah, Norwich is a funny one because they always come up, really, really play well in the Championship. They come up with a lot of promise. And in the Premier League, they just can't hack it. Whereas Watford, you know, the players we've got, Sissoko, Josh King, Danny Rose, Tom Cleverley. When I say these names, they're Premier League experienced pros. And I don't think Norwich really have that. So I think Watford definitely have the better squad. You can see what else Xisco's saying here. This was actually my main takeaway from the whole press conference. Talking about the fans, and he says, I think the fans need to understand the process. And that's exactly what I was just discussing with you. You know, everyone needs to calm down. Like, we've come from the Championship where we've been winning games every Tuesday, every Saturday, Tuesday, Saturday, been winning every single game, destroying teams a lot of the time. And we come up to the Premier League and we're no longer the big dog. We are the little dog. And I think everyone needs to kind of chill. You know, I expect us to beat Norwich. If we do that, then that's still within my expectations. And if we beat the teams we need to beat, any other points we get is a positive. Beat Norwich, beat Newcastle. If we take points from, you know, let's say we draw against Liverpool or we draw against Leeds, something like that. You know, those are bonus points that I wouldn't expect us to get. So it's really, really interesting. Let's read some comments from chat. Fireball saying, good, how are you? I'm all good, Fireball. Hope you're having a great day. TH saying, a huge mistake if we start Foster backward step. I'm kind of, as I said earlier, I'm kind of on the fence with this one. If Daniel Batman continues to not be very good, then I'm more than happy to put Foster back in to see what he can offer and see what he can do. I think we know what Foster offers is a shot stopper. I think Daniel Batman is trying to be more than a shot stopper, and that might be his issue, actually. I think he might be trying too hard to impress. Stop the ball from going in the back of the net, and he'll do just fine. He did make a really good save against Wolves, actually. If you're at the Wolves game just before half-time, I think it was someone like Adama Traore or Nelson Semedo was through on goal up by the rookery end. And Daniel Batman comes rushing out, kind of closes the angle like a Schmeichel-esque save. And he did really well then, and I was quite impressed with that. And he needs to do more of that, because that's all I want from a goalkeeper. I want them to stop the ball from going in the back of the net. So yeah, I am kind of on the fence with that. I've seen good things from Bachmann, but I've also seen a few bad things as well. So we'll have to wait and see. Melanie, I hope you're having a great day. Everyone, brackets fans, are just going a bit negative at the moment. I absolutely agree with you there, Melanie. Yeah, I just think everyone needs to be a bit more positive. We're in the Premier League. Like, we spent the whole of last season trying to get back to the Premier League. We've done that. Zisco did that. And Vladimir Ivic as well. He helped us out, of course. But yeah, Zisco got us back up to the Premier League. We're 4 games in and people are calling for his head. Like, I think we've just got to chill. Like, everyone, take a look in the mirror, chill out. It will all be okay. We're going to beat Norwich. We're going to beat Stoke in the cup, and we're going to beat Newcastle. Do not worry. THM, why don't we start Clevs and Madness not to start him? You know what? We're actually blessed with a load of midfield options now. You've got to think the midfielders we've got. Now, I know we've obviously let Chalobah and Hughes go. But, the options we've got in there: Peter Atebo, Imran Louza, Musa Sissoko, Ozan Tufan, Tom Cleverley, Dan Gosling. There's so many players in there, quality players. We've not even seen Ozan Tufan yet. Imran Louza's not really had a look in either. And I'm hoping that Tufan or Louza or one of them two could add some creativity to the midfield, because I think that's what we're missing in these games. The Wolves game especially, I sit in the Upper Graham Taylor stand, got a fantastic view of the whole pitch, and I could kind of see players trying to make runs. Forward players like Dennis and King trying to make runs. They weren't being found. Like, the midfield essentially were just all waiting for the ball to come to them rather than proactively looking for the ball, trying out passes. Because actually, a player who I really, really like is Bruno Fernandes at Manchester United. Now, he actually loses the ball quite a lot because he tries these outrageous passes all the time, 40, 50-yard passes. Players make runs in behind. He tries these passes. 90% of the time, they don't actually come off. But the one time they do come off, he's making a clear-cut chance for his team. And I think our midfielders need to be a bit more adventurous. Sissoko, Atebo, they're great players, but I don't think they're necessarily creative midfield players. I think Tufan and Louza might be the solution to that. I think Louza especially look really, really promising. Coming for big money in the summer, our biggest fee that we paid for a player. So yeah, I want a bit more creativity from the midfield. I've got one more question before I go, actually. And I'm going to quickly talk about this as well. It's Cucho Hernandez and why Zisco seems to be refusing to start him in games. Now, Cucho, for me, is one of our most, exciting, dynamic attacking players we've got. And Josh King seems to be the favoured striker starting ahead of him. Now, Josh King, for me, I thought against Wolves until he was subbed off, he did well. And then Cucho come on. But I think that was a bad example of Cucho in that game. But what I'm trying to say is, from what I've seen of Cucho and what I've seen of Josh King, I'm much more excited by Cucho and what he can offer, especially technically on the ball. I think is a lot better than Josh King. So for me personally, the midfield, the front three, I would start against Norwich. I'd go foot. I'm one of these people who just puts pace everywhere on the pitch. So I'd go Dennis on the left, Cucho up front, and then I'd obviously go Sarr on the right, or Cucho could go left, Dennis up front. It's quite interchangeable. So that is actually another point that I like about our front three. They're very interchangeable. And that's not something we had when Troy Deeney and Andre Gray were at the club. They're very, what's the word? They like to play in one position. Whereas at least with the attacking players we've got now, you could add Ashley Fletcher into that too. They do like to switch. If it's not working for Sarr on the right, why not move Sarr out to the left and see what you can do? Sarr gives fullbacks a torrid time Norwich, you know, they do have some decent fullbacks. They've got Brandon Williams in on loan from Manchester United. Apparently, last time out, he actually had a really good game. I think he was actually their man of the match. So it's not going to be easy for Sarr. But you know, we saw Sarr tear apart Norwich last season, so there's no reason why he can't do it this season. So yeah, that is kind of my thoughts on the game. I've got my notepad here in front of me. Anything else that I've not covered? I've talked about the good record. Is it a must-win game? Kiko Feminier and Foster return. Score prediction I've got to do as well. So for me, another complaint I've had about us this season is defensively, more from individual mistakes. I don't think tactically Xisco could have really done much more. I think the 4-3-3 is our formation currently. I think he'll stick with that. We had the best defence in the Championship last season. We don't have the best defence in the Premier League this season, not by a long way. So I don't think we'll keep a clean sheet in this game. You know, Norwich are at home. They've got their fans backing behind them. I do think that Norwich will score. Hopefully they won't score too many. What shall I go with? I'm going to go with a 2-1 Watford win. I was actually on a Norwich channel earlier today called The Pink Un. If you search them on Twitter, you'll be able to find a video I was on. I did predict 2-1 in that as well. Who are the scorers going to be? You know what? I really want Cucho to do well at Watford. I'm going to go over Cucho double, and we're all going to be sitting here the next day. I'll probably do another live stream, and we'll all be very, very happy indeed. So that's pretty much it. I don't think I've missed any Watford news really. João Pedro's back in full training, but on the website he said he wasn't really going to be in contention for this game. Obviously, that could change. He could be in the bench. You know, we don't know what the club are going to decide, but at least Pedro's back. Foster's back. Feminier's back. We've pretty much got all our players available. I'd like to see Tufan make his debut. I'd like to see some creativity in midfield. And that's pretty much where I'm at. I hope you all enjoyed the stream. I certainly enjoy doing these. Please go and check out all our previous videos as well. I will be doing a live match watch along for the game on Saturday. I'll go live 5 minutes before kickoff, so please do join me for that. I'm really looking forward to it. We'll quickly go through your comments before we go. I do appreciate you all spending your time here today and, you know, talking about Watford, because that is ultimately what we all want to do. So Katrina saying she hopes Watford win on Saturday. I certainly do as well. Fireball with a long comment here. He says, we just have to take this as a chance to bounce back. We've proved that we have the energy to compete. With the Aston Villa performance, absolutely agree. That seems like a long while ago now. And he says, hopefully we can bounce back, but it's too early for us to panic. Again, absolutely agree. Melanie's gone with a 2-1 win to Watford. Absolutely agree, Melanie. That's what I predicted. Fireball going the clean sheet. Come on, clean sheet. Sarr and Cucho to score. Lovely jubbly. And Golden Boys has gone for 1-0 loss. So much positivity, and then we end on that negative one. How funny. How funny. And TH has gone, would love a win, but thinking of a draw, to be honest. As I said, 4 points minimum for me from these next two Premier League games. We've got Norwich and Newcastle coming up. At least 4 points I want, if not 6 points. I want a win from both. I want a convincing, dominant performance in both games. And yeah, that's about it. I keep rambling on, but I'll see you all for the watch along on Saturday, 5 minutes before kickoff. I'll be live on here. Hopefully, I'll have a couple of guests with me as well, so keep an eye out for that. I'll tweet and post about that on Instagram and Twitter when that's all being set up. But yeah, thank you very much for joining me, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.